Hello everyone, and welcome to my first TVP ever! Well, it's not really my first TVP. I mean, I've played lots of TVPs, but this is the first one I'm going to broadcast for you guys. Hope you guys like it. And I just realized I haven't told you guys my build orders yet. Whoops. Okay, so against Protoss, I always open the same way. Double racks. 2 racks. And it's a 2 racks without any gas. And what this allows us to do is it allows us to get an expo up around 4 minutes, which is fairly early. And this does allow us to build up a pretty strong economy while we mass up enough Marines to defend it and even put on some pressure if our opponent tries to contest our economic lead. It's always nice to have. Always nice. This depot here is purely optional. It's a preference type of thing. I've had a probe here just sneak on through to one of these corners here and then proxy a gateway or two into my base and ruin my whole day. And I'm pretty sure every Terran has had their day ruined at some point by this annoying strategy. Ever since I put the depot at the ramp, or at least at the entrance of the ramp, I've always spotted the probe, and it's not scary if you see it coming. Also good to note, I tend to wall off. You don't need to do that. There are advantages and disadvantages. It's a preference thing again. The advantages being that if our opponent scouts, he can't really scout what we have inside our base. So he might think it's an all-in, he might overreact, he might not. That's really the biggest advantage, is that he doesn't know what we're doing. There's a disadvantages as well. Since the buildings are so close to the ramp, there's a possibility of them getting sniped by Blink Stalker all-ins and even Void Rays, but Blink Stalker is more common now. So as your barracks finishes, just scout with your SCV. Don't forget to build a supply depot. This has caught me off guard quite a few times, has cost me quite a few games. And with this build especially, you cannot stop producing Marines. If you stop producing Marines for a sec or two, it's enough for you to actually lose the game, since the whole build order revolves around a huge economic lead and is kind of scarce with its military defense. So you need to defend. You need to have good people. When you're scouting, you need to scout the amount of chrono boost he has. I guess when the cybernetics core finishes as well. But what really is important is the amount of gas. If he has 200 gas mined or more, that means he's doing one of the triple gas heavy all-ins, which is either DTs, Oracle play, or proxy Oracle, really the same thing, or some sort of DT, Blinkstalker, and Oracle. Right, those three. As 4 minutes finish, build your CC. And this is purely something I like to do. It can be a little bit risky to build a depot here at your opponent's main, well, not main, but one of his expos. I just do it to keep tabs on how many expo he has and how early he tries to expo. Sometimes I'll do it on his third, sometimes I'll do it on his fourth. It really depends on the map, and you don't need to do this. This is just something I like to do. So at 5 minutes, you can push out with 9 Marines. Interesting to note, you need 10 Marines to be able to 3-shot Zealots and Stalkers, which is why I'm bringing an SCV, and I'm going to bring this SCV into the fight, just for added DPS, some more HP, stuff like that. Behind this is when we really rack up things. We build a third CC. And what's really powerful about this push is that it arrives before Warp Gate finishes, and without Warp Gate finishing, the most you can have is 4 units. Make sure before you push that you get your CC up. And while this is happening, sorry, I got kind of excited by the fight. Try not to build a bunker if you can, because the bunker normally interferes with the Marine count that you need. At 6:30, while you're having fun, make sure to throw down 2 mules and make them both double refineries. Before 7, you might want a 4th barracks as well. Why you don't want to throw down a bunker is that it really cuts into the marine production, and you really need as many marines as you can. Unless you know your opponent is not going to attack you, which is fine, but meh. So already, we are 7 minutes into the game, and if we look at the income tab, our opponent is way ahead of us, except we have 2 orbitals, which is equal to about 9 SCVs more, and we're going to have a third one on the way, so we're going to have an economic lead. And this is really where the strength comes in. It's that behind this, every time we push, we are going to push right when the mothership core doesn't have enough energy to do a photon overcharge. The first push comes right before our opponent has warp gates, so more often than not, very good play by our opponent, by the way, catching the guard, but still doesn't have enough because he's being ultra greedy here with +1/+1. And if you see, still 97, 98. Only now does he have enough, and he's lost all his forces by now, so it's too late to use a photon overcharge. Clean this up, and sometimes during the first push or even the second push you can end the game. If your opponent is being way too greedy and doing this double forge 2-2 on the way, that is way too greedy, and you will usually not end the game. You shouldn't expect to end the game with these kinds of pushes, but it will happen sometimes. And he's lost just too many SCVs here. I'm ahead in SCV count, and I have triple orbitals done, concussive shells done, stims halfway through, and combat shields is just starting. And from here on out, the game's pretty much over. We attack again at 10:30, right before the mothership core would have enough energy for another photon overcharge, and yeah, that's pretty much how the game is played out. When we push again, make sure you add the additional barracks. I like to add 8 and add another command center. And we push right when stim and combat shield is supposed to finish. I'm gonna fast forward, because this is pretty much done. He doesn't really have much left. Stim, he sees it, he just leaves. And that's pretty much it. Yep. Also, something I've noticed, every time you push, right before pushing, make sure that you use mules, because that's really what keeps your economy going. While you push as well, I forgot to say this, but you need a couple NG bays. You start while you push at 10:30 as well. That helps with the late game scenario. And you shouldn't really expect to win here, but it does happen. And in this game it did happen. So yeah, I hope this helped you guys a little bit, and I'll see you guys next time.